Recording here, and we're set.
All right.
All right, everybody. This is my first kind of digital conference podcast. It's going to be really cool. I got somebody that I've known for a while. We never really talked, but it's been one of those kind of social media back and forth kind of relationships. It's been a little weird, but it's also really cool. So I got Joshua Jackai. That's what you say, right?
Oh, Jackai.
Jackai. Sorry, I tried to look at it. I tried to look it up. Did not work. Google Translate does not help.
No, it's cool. It's like story of my life.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Joshua's definitely an extremely accomplished guy. He's done almost everything, from playing football to building his own business. He was even the valedictorian at his at SFU, St. Fraser's University, which that's insane. That's a big accomplishment. And I hope you think that that's something cool. Definitely. But yeah, he started his own clothing business, which is absolutely insane. And it's extremely successful. They've got over 30,000 followers on Instagram, and they have sales all over the world, which is extremely interesting. So let me stop having this little intro. Welcome to episode 14 of Carson's Conversations. Let's get into it. All right, buddy. Where do you want to start? Because we were talking a little bit earlier, and I'm kind of sad that we have to go over it again because the first time you said it was so amazing. But I actually didn't know you grew up in California. Like, how was that experience? Because California is just great.
Yeah. No, I grew up in Hayward, California, and I think especially coming here, with most people, when they think of California, they think of like the beaches or Disneyland. So like most people when I came to Vancouver, like they just thought it was like, beaches and Disneyland, but that's like a specific part of Southern California. Like that's not all of California. So I grew up in Hayward, California. So it was like, I want to say like within Hayward, like you had like the middle class and you had like the lower middle class and you had like the lower class.
Yeah.
I want to say we were kind of like the lower middle class were like big family, parents having to work all the time, multiple jobs and stuff. But when you're young and everything, it's like so like in the time, I thought like everything was like great and all that stuff. And then it wasn't until, I go out of my environment and then I start to see like real privilege, like people that have, just wealthier parents and stuff like that, or just wealthier lifestyles. They just don't have to worry about certain things. And then that's when I kind of started to see the difference. But I'm very grateful though for like where I come from. You know what I mean? It was my parents, they taught me a lot of integrity and just the value of like hard work and family. Because my mom got remarried when I was about 2 or 3 years old. She divorced my biological father very early, but married my stepfather around when I was like 3 or 4. So I got 4 more siblings with that. So I'm like the youngest out of like 8 children, basically.
Oh wow! And is that a crazy experience, just being like the youngest of 8? Because I can't really, I have no way of like relating to that because I'm the youngest of 2. If you count my dog, maybe I'm the middle child. But like, how is that?
Yeah. I feel like with you being with the youngest, we experience where like there's always that older sibling where we're kind of different than them, and we kind of want to make our own way in a sense. And then our parents, the older siblings always think the parents are like more lenient on you more and all that stuff. So like for me, for me it was that same thing, but just I grew up with like all boys mainly. I had 2 sisters, and then the boys had to do everything from like yard work and sports. They were huge on sports. So like I grew up my whole life just surrounded with competition. Like that was a huge thing.
I can see that being. Would you count that as a good thing, having all this competition, or was it like kind of a negative? Did it like hinder on your growth or your mental stability?
Yeah, I think for me, I think I like it. I liked it, me personally. I just, if there's one flaw to it, like I hate, and I think it's still a good thing, but I got really, really like a phobia of like losing at a very early age. Like I hated losing. Like I hated losing. But like that, like with me being like the closest one in age was 2 years older than me, then the oldest one, he was at least like 13 or 14 years older than me. So I like it. It's just always that pressure, like having to better yourself and stuff like that. And then, you know, when my older brothers are getting trophies and stuff like that, it's like, I want to do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I want to do that. And it was interesting though. Like some people, they don't really like the pressure, but me, like, I really liked it. Like whenever I got into school, like nobody messed with me really because they knew my older brothers, or, you know,
Yeah.
like the coaches already knew me and they had high expectations for me. And I always fulfilled it, I think, because I was always just a focused person. I like it, me personally. I definitely like it.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you there. Even though I
Yeah.
didn't have the experience of having 8 older siblings,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like still you have your older brother, and my older brother's 4 years older than me, right? And I just had him on the
Yeah.
podcast, and he's gone a completely different path from me. He went more into the engineering kind of thing, and I'm a business guy, and you're definitely a business guy. So you kind of take that competition and you go, hey, let's see how far we can take it. And you definitely took it as far as you can, because you got, from my little research that I did here, you got 3 solid companies that you worked for or created or did anything like that. And that's insane.
No, it was definitely, it's interesting, like hearing it from a different perspective, because I think like with entrepreneurship, we have that like automatic imposter syndrome where it's like we see the opportunities that we don't feel like we're capitalizing on, or that thing we may have messed up on, or that thing we wish we could have accomplished.
For sure.
And then we don't really look at it like that all the time. But when I do look, like when you say it back to me and people come up to me and talk to me about it, it's like, oh shit, like I really did do that, you know. Or like
Exactly.
one thing I've been practicing for like just the last few years is just gratitude. And like I purposely put a journal next to my bed that I write in every single day. And it's just, like the whole gratitude side. Cause like that is, I know that's a huge thing with entrepreneurship. You're kind of like, you're really in competition with yourself, but you're in competition with the market as well. You know what
Very
I mean?
true.
With that, it can come with a lot of different emotions and feelings and all that.
So in your experience of entrepreneurship, how has that, well, I get it's been very, very successful, but in the early days and before you kind of did your journal, which gets all your thoughts out and kind of slows you down and puts you in the right perspective of everything, how was the early days, and what were your methods of coping with the stress of really starting your own business and going, I don't know where I'm going to go from here?
Yeah. For me, man, it was just always, I guess it was just where I come from. Like, in my neighborhood, it's like, kids, it sucks that it's like this, but, it's like the thing is not, I write this on our website too. It's like, it's either people want to become like famous for music, or they like sell drugs, or they want to
Yeah,
be like an athlete, a very successful athlete. And, it's like the biggest goal, like for any kid growing up where I come from, is to like make it out the neighborhood somehow,
yeah,
like, you know, be self-sustainable. And like, I've that's something that's like been embedded in me since like forever. And even though like I'm the youngest of 8 kids, like I'm the only one that graduated from a 4-year university. And
jeez.
my
Well,
oldest
congrats to
brother
that.
actually, it's crazy though, because it's like my oldest brother, he was actually a better student than me. He was like
Yeah,
a 4.0 student through high school, but
jeez.
he didn't want my parents to have to worry about paying for him through college
That's too nice.
and take money from the other siblings. So he went into the military to get his school paid for and stuff. And then,
Did that work out
just,
though in the military?
he worked. It worked out very good for him. Like he was able to own a home by 24, moved out to
Wow.
Arizona. Like he's the only one that I go to for advice when it comes to just being a man and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
he like, I still look up to him till this day. I can't say that for all my siblings, unfortunately, but like him, man, like whether it's like a breakup or just me questioning myself as a man, or, you know, us not really having a strong relationship with our biological father, it's like I go to him for everything. But with that though, I think it shaped me a lot though, just that mindset of just getting out of that environment. So when I do come across these problems with like, oh, there's a person on the team that's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or oh, we lost a little bit of money, like that is nothing to me in a sense, because I've been through way scarier things. You know what I mean? Like
That's
I've seen. It's just real. Like I've seen people I've been around one day, and the next day you find out they got shot and killed. Like I've seen that. So it's like whenever I see like these people worried about like I have too much schoolwork, or I have like I don't know, like people aren't buying my stuff, or somebody's not liking my picture. Like, bro, like in the grand scheme of things, I've just seen like real life. You know, I just seen some really, really crazier happen.
Yeah, you've definitely seen the worst of the worst that can kind of happen in your own state or in your own province or wherever you are, because anything that gets, because all I've heard really from of some things that happen in kind of California and stuff like that is that it is a very troubled area in a lot of the other lower income places, and that's just there's such a bigger and grander area of issue, not just the gang violence or drugs and all that stuff. Because the thing that also really does suck is sometimes people think it's better than it really is, right? Do you get that vibe where they're, oh, this is something that should, where like for people in my area, a lot of them they want to live that life. Understand what I mean? Because it's weird living in, I'm a very fortunate person living in like the suburbs and that type of thing it's just like people think, oh, that is a great life to live until you actually talk to someone that's experienced that type of stuff. It's just like you are you're so stupid because nobody wants to live that life. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, why are you acting like this? This is stupid.
Yeah, man. No, I have so much respect for people like you, man. Like, because it's like, it takes a lot of empathy to be able to realize that too. And I think people get very caught up, especially with our age being the social media generation and stuff. It's like they see these people that come from these environments, and you know, social media is a highlight reel. So they think like the partying, you know, the cars, the jewelry, the women. That's all that comes with, you know, being from that environment. If you like, but no, man, it's a lot of it's a lot of hidden. There's a lot of like skeletons in the closet with those types of environments, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's sad because like growing up, you're surrounded by people that think this is it. Like, okay, I'm gonna just get a regular 9 to 5. I'm gonna rent out a place and have a kid really young, and that's it. Like I'm never, like I have friends that's never left, you know, the Bay Area. Like it's crazy to me. Or like they go to Vegas or something and they think that's like life, and it's like, no, man, it's
bigger,
so much
right?
more. Yeah, it's so much more. And then even then, I don't know. I just always wanted to like set an example to like whenever I feel like I'm down or like negative about anything, I just think about like now since I have so many siblings, I have a bunch of nieces and nephews, you know, it just people that are just counting on me, and it's like that's what keeps me going on. It's like I just feel like there's just bigger things at stake.
You gotta set the bar high,
yeah, there's bigger things at stake here that like failure is not an option for me. And I think that's kind of why I said like I hated losing as a child, but I think it's embedded something in me that's kind of built me for what I'm doing now.
I'm just curious because I've always had this thought, and I haven't had someone that's had the same experience to really have a sit down and actually talk to. Do you think, and also this is kind of related to clothing, but do you think that music has played any toll or issue in that type of area where showing off the jewelry, the girls, the cars, all that stuff, is that something that you think causes an issue because they kind of glorify that thing? Or does like other rappers or Real Talk rappers for sure, like where like J. Cole, he's one of those guys that kind of shows this isn't what you should do. You should do other things, where other rappers are always about, oh, the women and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. I think it's it plays it's an interesting dichotomy because like for me, I know like my friends think I listen to like some crazy violent music. Like I listen to like I used to listen to like the Gucci Man before he became sober and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you know, like here I am, like I was able to go to college and do my thing, but then you see the complete opposite sometimes, where you know with promethazine coding becoming so big, like kids actually drinking it because rappers are talking about it.
Exactly. So, that's a scary thing.
Yeah, man. And you know, Percocets and things of that nature. And it's like, yeah, it does have a huge effect on people in that environment. And to be honest with you, I think it's more so about people being comfortable or knowing who they are deep down inside, like being comfortable with themselves. Because even like moving to Vancouver and everything and seeing really privileged people doing these same exact things, and it's like they're just trying to become something else other than themselves, and they look at what's cool or whatever and they try to become that. And Yeah, no, rap definitely has that impact, and it has like the complete opposite impact. I think it definitely just starts with like the individual, like what do they want to achieve? Like what's the ultimate goal for them? And like do they know themselves? Are they comfortable in their own skin?
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that like being the youngest did teach me. Like I saw like the different routes of like, you know, the brother that listened and then the brother that didn't listen, the brother that listened halfway, and you know, and I saw like where each of those paths took them, and it's like, okay, I don't want to be like him, I don't want to be like him, like I kind of want to be like him, but not every part. It's like, you know, you kind of pick and choose. And yeah, and I think with music, you know, that's a lot of people's, you know, older sibling where they pick and choose, you know what I mean? And I think that's like the impact that like music in general, I wouldn't even say hip hop, but I think hip hop's the biggest example of that. Just, yeah, I think it's like one of the biggest influencers when it comes to that, that does influence people to do that, because yeah, you said it perfect. Like there's guys like J. Cole and then, you know, there's guys like, I don't know, Future, you know what I mean? And people try to be just like both of those guys.
Yeah. And it's also such a different thing. And because I'm a big rap guy. I do like rap, but for me, I listen to a lot of different things and I like breaking it down. So for me, when it comes to other artists, I also like hearing like the samples or the things in the back to it. So I randomly got really into like jazz for a bit, and actually I still am. It's something nice to vibe to, but the thing is, you hear music like that, which is kind of the soul and the breakdown of what it is, and you look into it and you go, this is a great influence. This tells you kind of more of a story, and it doesn't glorify something bad. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where if you look at where most of the bigger name rappers are using the samples, and the big guys are, because my favorite rapper is Kendrick. I think I'm wearing Damn right now, but like that's perfect timing. But there's certain things that like they put perfectly, or if, for example, Kendrick puts in a whole bunch of words about, or lines or lyrics or whatever you want to call them, about like police brutality and stuff like that, and that it hits and that pushes the envelope further and actually gets more people to hear about it. And it's something good that comes from rap, because it's not always bad. It's just either the media is glorifying it and saying this is what it all is, or something like that. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense, man, because that's one thing too. Like, I think if I wasn't in clothing, I'd be in music, because I really look at music the same way. Like I really look at the bigger impact and decode everything. And I think like Kendrick, he's on top because, man, he's one of the most artistic artists, if that makes sense. Like there's so many layers to Kendrick Lamar's like music when you break down the beats he used, the stories.
It's scary. It's scary. It takes too long. Like I get confused and I get like chills every time I listen to music, because I know what the deeper meaning is, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's like I think that was one great thing about like being from California and seeing, you know, the Tupac era. I remember, because I was born in 1991, but my memory starts when I was like 3 or 4 years old. So I remember like hearing Tupac on the radio and stuff.
That'd be nuts. And that's in your area too, right? Like that's the Bay Area. So that's something crazy to hear.
Yeah, no, he was like a god, man. And it was like, I remember like, even though he was making these songs about like, you know, womenizing and, you know, talking about women, referring to them outside their names. He had a very, very, very strong like political view, like, you know, with his mom being a Black Panther and coming from that lineage, and a very artistic side, where to like now they're teaching classes about his message in like UC Berkeley now and stuff like that.
That's something great to see about the world though, because the thing that sometimes, and honestly every time I see it in the news, is or saying, oh, this is something bad about, say, Tupac or any other great artist and stuff like that, is what are you talking about? If you look deeper into the message, it's not about money and the ladies and all that stuff. It's about what the issues they're going through, or he's going through right now, and the experiences he's had in life, right? So it's just like, you can't, like, look deeper, please. Everybody, come on, like, focus in on what's actually happening.
Yeah, man, I agree 1,000%. And like people forget Tupac died when he was like 25. Like
way too young. Dude,
you know what I mean?
Imagine if he made it to 30. What would the world be like?
Yeah, man. And this dude was like at 25, you know, talking about like philosophy and stuff like that. And people, I don't know, it's weird. It's interesting too, just like people forget like that artists are human too. And
Exactly.
like they sometimes have to mature themselves, you know, go through things.
Yeah.
And I think that's like why, even though Kanye does all this controversial things, like
he's still learning.
Yeah, I feel like he's still learning, and like I can still, I appreciate him for how much of a human he's brave enough to be. Like he's afraid.
That's
He's not
another
afraid,
thing.
you know, to be vulnerable and, you know, be wrong. While most people will you know, hold their mouth shut and only think what he's saying. And I think that's the great thing about I can really tell which hip hop people I can get along with, or even which clothing people or people in general I can get along with, is that they don't get so caught up in how the message is being delivered. Like they're able to see through all that and actually get to the root of the message and hear the message for what it is. Not get mad at the person because they're wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat while he's saying it. You know what I mean? But
yeah, and it's all opinion though, right? Like
yeah,
that's another thing. And I'm not American, and I'm fully Canadian, and America does fully affect Canada and all their opinions and stuff like that. But the one thing that it does break down to me as a Canadian is, please let people have their opinions.
yeah.
Don't go out and get mad at other people for having these opinions. Just let them be free, and that's like freedom of speech. You gotta let them talk.
Yeah.
Even if it's terrible, just avoid it. Just don't waste your time with that. And that's like Kanye, man. I love his music. I definitely one of my. He's in the top 3 for me, just because not only has I haven't really had any tough times or bad times or anything like that, but he's really just the way he brings soul into music, and like Otis and all those guys that get brought into it. It's just like, wow, this is some really solid music. And it even brings up political topics as well. And what I was trying to get into was like, it's really, I don't even know how to put it, but it's like music really does affect a lot of people. And as long as people listen to good music, funny that we're talking about Kanye, but like, it's just, man, I'm at a loss for words for this, because we're getting to the deep topics. And sorry, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, you're right, man. You're right. And I think as I get older too, that's something I'm becoming very conscious of. Like, I notice a huge difference in like my productivity based on the information I'm consuming during the day,
100%.
whether it be like music, just about like, you know, illegal stuff, where like, you know, regular hip hop music, or whether I'm listening to like a podcast or something like that, a business podcast.
Yeah.
I noticed that it does actually, what you consume actually does affect your actions and your productivity in some way. And I know for me, that's something I'm becoming really conscious of. And as I get older, like I've shifted kind of my music interest more so to people who have the same values as me. And I think everybody does this in a sense, but I'm just very more conscious about it. Like I like to listen to, like, my favorite Jay-Z album was the 444 album. Like,
me too. Honestly, I wasn't really alive when Jay-Z had all his stuff, but I'm not a political guy, but I like hearing about it, and like I like understanding it. I'm not gonna go out and protest for things that I don't actually think is the way to do it. But that album, with the music videos and everything brought up in it, it was just like, you gotta like, for me, music is something you don't just bump in your car. You don't play it as loud as you can. You got to kind of sit down, listen to it. And then once you can fully understand it, you can play it as loud as you want, because you know that is your anthem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, man, definitely. I think that's definitely like my favorite album. That's probably like one of the only albums that have came out that I feel like I can listen to front and back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because, I don't know, it just shows his maturity too. And then from him talking about, like, you know, ownership, investing in real estate, then, you know, infidelities, and then how that affects the whole family tree. And then his mother coming out, you know, at a late age, admitting she's lesbian finally, but he's just happy that she's happy, you know, stuff like that. And it's like, you know, just real life things that matter, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's so much more important to hear stuff like that, which can actually happen in your real life, rather than hearing about, oh, I got a Tech 9, it's better than a Glock, or I got a Glock 40, it can shoot faster than your gun. Like, that's some stuff that's pointless, and it's not as interesting. And I think more people should really like the deeper dive things. And I think people are getting too simple with things. And it frustrates me at this point. And I don't even know how we got on this tangent about music, but I'm enjoying it.
Bro. Yeah,
it's
bro,
good, man.
I'm like a huge, bro, I can't do anything without music, man. If like it's quiet or somebody's talking over the music while I'm trying to get stuff done, like I get irritated, bro. Like every time I work, I got headphones.
Yeah. So what's the work time music for you though? Because sometimes rap I can't listen to it while I'm trying to get stuff down or writing a ton of words because I get too focused up in the lyrics or something like that. What do you listen to when you're trying to get words down?
Yeah. For me, because normally when I'm reading, when like I really have to concentrate in, I remember G-Eazy made this like, and I don't really listen to too much EDM or house music, but he made this mix with I think it must have been like a producer or a DJ he met while he was at college in Louisiana called Christoph Anderson. But I think they only released on SoundCloud because I remember I used to be like a huge SoundCloud guy, I love finding things that everybody else isn't listening to. Yeah. He had like this mix where it was just like all of his songs like remixed, but in this kind of like nostalgic, like trance, EDM, like soft calming type music. Yeah. And I remember like that got me through like college. I think like my last 2 years or whatever, like I would always play that. Now for me, it's more so like of course the Jay-Z thing. I really like Meek Mill's music more when he's just talking about the environment he came from or just ambition and stuff like that. Like it's just ambitious music. Anytime somebody's talking about like, you know, loyalty or, you know, making it out the neighborhood or, you know, feeding their family or just prospering or, you know, dealing with loss and being able to come out on top of that, like perseverance type music. I'm very huge on that. Like, it doesn't even matter what genre it is. Like, that's when I'm working though, like that's what I love to listen to.
Yeah, for sure. Those are good things. I don't know. I'm complete opposite because I can't, like, if it's rap music or anything with real words, I can't get anything done. So I'll put on either like the instrumentals of rap so I can actually I can nod my head or anything like that. Like for Kanye, for example, because we're going to keep bringing him up because he is in the news constantly. But for Kanye is he samples so many different artists. And some video came up the other day and it shows that he took some this guy wasn't really popular and he made like some folk songs and stuff like that, but it was like modern folk, so it was about real life. And he took that and it was from For Hold My Liquor, if you remember that song. And it's just like he took that's insane. So I'll listen to like the other songs that are just like more instrumental or with a little bit of stuff like that, and that kind of gets me focused because then I can think and put out all the words that I really want.
That's actually great. That's how my that's how like one of my close buddies that I used to be roommates with when I first was in college, that's exactly how he was. And he was like, he's like a videographer now and stuff like that, but that's how he was. He was like, he would always say that to me, like, bro, like, how do you work with all these words and stuff like that? Like, how can you concentrate? But I don't know. I guess like when I'm working, I don't absorb the words as much. Like for me, it's like I have to like really concentrate on dialogue for me to fully absorb it. Because I like in college they diagnosed me with ADD and then they like prescribed me like Dexedrine and stuff. And I noticed that like for me, like even when I work, like I gotta put my phone in the other room. Or I can't have people like talking to me. Like even when I'm designing, like I'm by myself and then I show people when I'm done and get their feedback. It's like I don't take in words too much, but it's more so like I feel the energy, if that makes sense. Like
I 100% get that.
Yeah, because I think I can still do instrumentals or whatever too. Because the G-Eazy one, if you ever check it out, it's actually like a lot of like instrumental, and then like it has like the light singing in the background from the samples and stuff.
That stuff I'm good with. But my question is, because did you say you have ADHD?
They gave me ADD, so I
I got the same thing. So for me, well, we're the same.
Brother.
Brother from another mother, I guess. Completely different, but But for me, like, honestly, I think ADD's kind of been helped me. I don't know why. Like, I feel like if I didn't have my hyperactive kind of, I need to get this done. It's 2 a.m. and I'm still thinking about stuff that I could have done during the day. Let's get it done now before I go to bed. If I didn't have that stuff, I don't think I would have been able to make, say, this podcast. It's not huge yet. I'm telling you, right? It will be, but the thing is, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have come up with new ideas. I wouldn't have thought at 2 a.m. last night when I was like, oh, hey, let's message JJ. Let's see what he's up to. I haven't talked to him in a while. And it worked out to come out today, right? Like, so there's so many different things that I think ADD's kind of helped me with. And I didn't medicate myself whatsoever, because I was like, I've read a lot up about it, and I know there's some people that get addictions and stuff like that to other stuff like that. So and one of my friends, he has ADHD, and it took him a while to kind of wean off the pills that he was on. Yeah. And I was just like, that's a lot of messed up. So did you ever have to have one of those experiences of trying to find a way to get off the medicating pills or anything like that?
Yeah, no, man. That's hello? I think it's lagging a little bit.
I'll give it a minute.
That was my internet connection. My bad. Let me disconnect my Wi-Fi on my iMac right here.
All right, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that's definitely like a battle in itself, man. And I think one thing too, like, even with you kind of turning the whole ADHD into a strength versus like something that's hindered you, like you learn how to manage it. Like, I had to learn how to manage it as well, because I remember and I don't know if you heard, like, in like the African American community, like when it comes to like medication or like pills, like it's very taboo. Like, it's like, oh, he's crazy. Like, mental health is just now coming up, I feel like, in the African American community as being accepted. And so I remember when they first told me, because I think it was I found out in 2014 spring when they first diagnosed me at school. And then I remember I did the same thing similar to what you're saying. Like, I did like just a shitload of research, because they're talking about prescribing me stuff, and I'm like, fuck, man, like, I don't want to become like addicted to this, or like have any crazy side effects and everything. And I noticed that, like, when I first started, there were like the whole thing where like I couldn't sleep if I took it too late. Or like I noticed like the rise in like my social, like I would be like just very talkative, just very outgoing when I would first take it, and then it would like kind of die down. Yeah, exactly. It was just like kind of like alcohol, where it's like you get very social, you get very like compassionate.
Yeah, for sure.
And then like you're able to focus and everything, and then, you know, kind of dies down. And I did have that time where it's like, I upped my dose a little bit, and then I told them, like, no, like, I don't want to become dependent on this, so I had to lower my dosage again.
Smart.
And then luckily, but at the time it was scary as hell. Like, I went in and got checked, because I got on actually like academic probation. Like, I got like a 0.92 GPA my first semester, bro. Like, it was terrible.
What happened there? Because you were a real smart guy.
Bro, yes, that's the thing too. Like, I don't know, man. I would be in class, and I would do it like the American way, like you can procrastinate and then you can get stuff done later. And I remember like there would come times like I would really be in like the library, like studying, but then I would like just be shitting like all my tests and everything like that. And then
I've had those days.
Yeah, man. And like I remember there was even a time where like I studied ahead of time and everything, and it just still wasn't translating. And then I think I was talking to a few of my buddies on the team, and then they were like, bro, have you ever thought about visiting like the health and counseling office on campus? And then I'm like, no. And they're like, yeah, bro, like they like diagnosed me and then prescribed me, and then like it was like night and day with me or whatever. And then so I went in and then found out like I met the diagnosis for like ADD or whatever. And then I think that was 2014 spring. And that like when I got the academic probation, you lose your scholarship, your football scholarship. So bro, like it was like do or die, because if I didn't bring my GPA to a 2.0 cumulative by the fall coming up of 2014, I would have been like kicked out of school basically. I would have to drop out.
That's nuts.
Yeah, bro. So when they prescribed me, Um, luckily, I was like in the library and I was already disciplined where it's like, okay, you need to focus,
Yeah.
kill your social life. Like that's when I got into the habit of putting my phone in my bag whenever I was working, and then was able to go to work. And then like, bro, like I think the next semester I got a 2.7, then summer I got a 3.5, and then I was out of active probation and got my scholarship back within a year. But for me, it was just like night and day as far as like my productivity. And I know for me, like the biggest challenge with it for me has just been like, um, whenever I do take it, just making sure I'm taking it early enough in the day.
Yeah.
And then just if something does happen that like really triggers your emotions, not to act on it. Because I
Yeah.
remember like the semester before I graduated, like I had a girlfriend back home I was with for 7 years, and then like just went completely south. Like we broke up and everything. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember with the amphetamines, like it heightens your emotions a little bit, or makes you
Yeah.
like think more about specific things. So like I was constantly replaying all those problems in my head. And then what I learned during that time was like it's all in your head type of thing. You know, it's more so mind control and not to act out on it, you know. And yeah, that's been like the biggest challenges with it for me. But as far as that goes, it's like I noticed as long as your like priorities are in order and you're not like partying and stuff like that, and you know, drinking all the time or mixing it with all this stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, using it for the wrong reasons, like you'll be fine. You'll be fine. But yeah,
Yeah.
I have heard those crazy stories of people like ending up in a hospital and or crazy addicted over it before
Yeah.
though.
It's kind of, it's something super scary to think about is in North America as a whole is that everybody's getting overprescribed. I think
Oh,
at
for
least
sure.
I
Yeah.
never, I was lucky enough to still have ADD, and I was just like, nah, I'm gonna see how I do without it. I probably wasn't as severe as yours, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I still have it at the point where in the back of my mind, I'm just like, come on, let's do this. Come on, let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I think I'm just lucky that I didn't have to get to the level where I needed to be prescribed with anything. But
Yeah.
I think that the world nowadays is just like overprescribed on everything, and it's
Oh,
scary.
for sure. Oh, for sure, bro. It is scary, and it's sad because it's just like it's capitalism.
Yeah, it is.
The 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 bad side of capitalism of like, you know, the pharmaceutical companies wanting to push their agenda rather than like the natural remedies that could, you know, really help people. And it's sad, man. But I don't know. I know for me, it's just I just try and take it like I just notice with it like everybody's situation is slightly different, but then like whenever you become like dependent on something that's not natural, like that's when it gets scary.
Yeah. Do you
And I think
that's
we're
the
going
nice
down
thing
that
about
path
living in
right now.
Canada though, is like our prescriptions are free and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Back home, do you see any issues with, well, actually there are issues. It's not back home if you see them or not, but like do you see like are there issues that you see with your family members having like issues with
Oh,
prescriptions and stuff like that, or what is it?
yeah, and that was the thing too, man. Like with it being like African American family, like nobody like they're like after talking to my mom and um even when I was going through all this and then even seeing things with, like my sister and one of my brothers, it's like there's clearly mental health issues in my family,
Mm-hmm.
but they've never sought professional help. They
Yeah.
just self-medicate with alcohol or relationships or you know, and it's sad because and that's why I know for me like I put it on my shoulders a lot to like actually seek professional help with it just because I have this thought in my mind like who knows if I'm gonna have children one day, but I always think I am. And it's like I feel like whatever burdens I don't confront or overcome, then my child is going to have to face them,
It's true.
basically.
That's
You know what I
that's
mean?
very wise. That's like
Yeah,
that's such a true message. Jeez. Yeah,
yeah, man.
that's
And
damn.
because it's like, man, when my kid, say my kid gets into college and he's trying his hardest, but he keeps getting F's and D's on his tests, and he's gonna think something like, you know what I mean? He's not gonna know, and but like I can actually step in there and be like, okay, let's get you checked or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something as simple as that versus him dropping out or starting to party and drink and smoke, you know, whatever type of drug is out there at the time, you know, just to make himself feel better. when, you know, there's actually something deeper, you know what I mean? So
100%.
yeah, no, it's definitely, I know on my mom's side, it's huge on my mom's side. And in the Black community, they just always just talk about like prayer and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it helps, you know what I mean, here and there, but it only goes so far, you know, it only goes so far.
Yeah, man. All right, let's take a 5-minute break. Does that
Yeah,
sound
for
good?
sure.
Let's take a break,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
we can continue, because this is my new favorite podcast. It's not even out
I
yet, but I love
appreciate
it.
it, bro.
All
I
right, man. I'll
appreciate
be
it.
back in a couple seconds. All right, sounds good.
Mm.
Let's take a break, refill your water, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Alexa, turn off the living room light.
Dope ass shirts. Damn. All right.
Snap ambulances. Jesus. It's just loud.
Oh, damn, that's nice to hear.
Downtown Vancouver for you, man.
Yeah. All right. What? Let's get back into it. Hey, everybody, welcome back from our quick little break. What part of Vancouver are you in?
I'm in downtown Vancouver. I stay in Gastown, basically. Yeah, so that's where I'm currently located now.
Where I know where. Okay, so whereabouts compared to like the science center are you?
Oh, so Science World, you can actually like see that from like the balcony. So it's like,
Okay, yeah. So I have family living like right in one of those buildings. There's like the three tall like apartment buildings.
yeah.
They're in one of those buildings. Yeah. So
Okay,
they're pretty
yeah, I
close.
think they're called Spectrum. Yeah. No, those are nice places. They like sick views over there too.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
it really early, so that's nice to hear. But dude, this is honestly like I'm in shock at how great of a conversation that this has been. Like,
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man.
like this is nuts. I'm so happy. In such quick notice. Like I texted you the other day. Like on LinkedIn was quick.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for me, man, like, cause I'm at the stage right now where I'm working on a few things where I need to be like more hands-on. So like I clear out like most of my schedule, and then like I'm getting into the habit of just like not over busy, like making myself over busy with things that aren't in line with what I'm trying to do.
That's
So
smart.
it's like I do have room to like do things when people do approach me with things that I actually want to do that I care about. You know what I mean? So,
Well,
so
that's
yeah, no, like, schedule's pretty
well.
good right now.
Thank you for saying that you care about like just having this, because this is just amazing to have. Just because I haven't. Most of the people that I've had on have either been actually all of the people that I've had on have been from my high school or from people I've known in the past. So I haven't, and this is my first experience in trying to get a long distance kind of thing, and I'm really enjoying it so far. If I can keep
Yeah,
going,
no, I
this is definitely a
appreciate it.
motivation.
Yeah, I appreciate you reaching out too as well, man. Definitely.
Yeah, because you're a very interesting guy. Like I know the people in the first 30 minutes. Oh, we're almost at like 40 minutes, but the people are gonna notice that you're a cool ass guy. They're good.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
hopefully
thank
I'm gonna put the links for everything in the description, because this is an amazing stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, let's get into front runners. Like you started it from school, and like you started in school, right? That was like one of your project kind of things.
Yeah, well, I started. I printed my first shirts when I was actually back home. Excuse me, but it was just more of like a hobby type thing. just because me and my friends, like, we were in this like sneakerhead culture and streetwear culture, like back when like, you know, Nike SBs first became like really, really popular.
Yeah.
Like we were back in those days when people were still rocking like a lot of the skateboarding brands, and Pharrell was like an early BBC era type stuff. And yeah, no, we printed our first shirts, but that was like 2012, and I think that only lasted about 6 months because by that time I had received my scholarship, and like I put like all my focus into like getting ready for football and
Yeah.
coming into camp and everything. And then like coming into SFU, having to be like full-time student and a football player, I just didn't have time for farmers, but I still, you know, had the Instagram there on the side where, and I would still wear the old clothes in front of people. So yeah, that's why like I didn't start back up again until 2015, when I was done with football basically, but I was still in school.
That's kind of where I found you, because you were in, it was Reddit, right? I'm pretty sure I found you. You went hard in Reddit, and that's what I'm doing now, and it's working out pretty well.
Right.
But yeah, so like in the modern, let's go talk about like today. Like, what are the big moves in the moving in silence? What else are you doing when in that area? Like, what are you doing to like kind of expand the brand?
Yeah, so right now, a lot of my focus has been going into actually building out a real intimate brand ambassadors program
Mm-hmm.
versus how most brands they do it where they reach out to remote people, they DM them, give them a promo code, that's it. But like now I'm actually like I want to be more hands-on, and I'm actually finding my goal before fall semester starts is to have 20 brand ambassadors just in Vancouver alone, and I want to interview and meet with each of them in person,
Yeah.
like each and every one of them, like actually build a real relationship and hand pick them and personally like bring people on that I really believe in. So
Yeah.
I'm focusing in a lot on that, and then also on the B2B side, because like I said, like people always approach me just asking, can I do this for them or things of that nature. So like my school and then UBC as well, like the different departments that actually want to make their own front runners collaboration merch that we first started doing last year, and it was a pretty good turnout for the department, the faculty, like the students bought it and stuff. So
Yeah.
now I'm just focusing also on like producing merchandise for other groups as well, that are just kind of in line with where we come from and what we believe in.
Yeah.
So right now we've just been focusing on like UBC and SFU, and uh, I'm thinking we may try our first clothing collaboration probably fall, and
Yeah.
then we want to do the No Show trade show here in downtown Vancouver in January. That's like how we basically get distributed all through Western Canada. So
That's really
those,
cool.
yeah, those like three areas have been like the biggest focus, just because I started just talking to some people who were just more successful than me, and then like each of those things are different things that they said that you need to focus on, whether it be the brand ambassadors, but having like real relationships with them,
Mm-hmm.
or you know actually making merchandise for people, or yeah, doing the collaborations and the trade shows and everything. So just giving those like I'm frontline again, because I think last year I was trying to like delegate and stuff like that, and to be honest, it was like a huge headache, and I wasn't having as much fun, and I wasn't really enjoying it as much. And I think for me, I tried to do that too fast. And I think like that was a sign that, okay, I need to be like more hands-on for right now and build it a little more brick by brick before I start to do that. So that's like been most of my time, most of my focus, honestly, right now with pro runners.
I definitely think that the aspect of bringing in and interviewing your influencers is the step in the 100% right direction, because all the other businesses that I see that go, oh, this is the best way to do it, we're going to put a promo code. What's that going to do? People are going to get
Yeah.
5% off on your clothing, and it's not going to actually bring in the proper amount of influence in what an influencer is really supposed to do. So if you build that
Yeah.
personal connection and the people in the brand that you like, and you enjoy them and they enjoy your product and all that stuff, it's really going to work. And I think that's one of the smartest moves. And you're definitely way before the wave, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
no, I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that, because I know like for me, it's like I don't have, you know, like $50,000 budget in marketing every month, you know what I mean? Things like that. But I think what's been able to allow front runners to catch on so much is that like we only associate with things that we really believe in, or do things that we really believe in, or surround ourselves with people that we really believe in, or that we really want to support and give back to or engage with. So like with the influencer thing, that's I'm trying to do that same thing there. Like I don't want these, I don't know, man. Like I have enough loose relationships. Like I don't want loose relationships really. Like I don't want to put energy into loose relationships. I want to like build strong relationships, because I don't know, like I feel like that's really what it's about at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. It really does end up being, do these people actually enjoy your product, or are they just doing it because they're either getting free clothing, like I was when I was trying to when I was younger, and I was like, oh hey, let me get some free clothing. I'll be your influencer. I'll post your post your photos with my iPod 5. Like there's that stuff, and then as soon as you truly like interview them and find out what they're all about and like what their different character quirks are, and you can see, oh, these guys are going to go in 20 different directions with my 20 different influencers. We're going to have someone that's real photocentric. We're going to have someone that likes cars, but they really like clothing at the same time. We're going to have all these different, it really just branches off into a gigantic spider web, and hopefully, actually it will. And I 100%, I'm all for it, because I think as long as everybody kind of expands into their different areas, you're set. Like it's going to be great.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of faith in it. And I know for me, it's just definitely just, you know, nurturing that relationship. Because I've just talked to people that have been successful even in the music business, or people who have businesses around like content curators on YouTube and stuff like that. And they talk about like, there's like kids they have in Europe that like have these huge EDM playlist audiences and stuff like that. But he's on the phone with these kids like damn near every day. You know what I mean? Like communicating with them, actually building that relationship. And I think that's something, even for me, it's like kind of me even stepping outside my comfort zone, because like I've always been the one to let my work speak for me. But now actually like reaching out and seeing even how I can help them out with like, what do they care about? Like, what are they trying to accomplish? And in the relationship that way. And I think I see it going well, definitely. Like whether it be the sales side or just a strong relationship, or, you know, creating more brand awareness and more content created for us, user generated content or sales, like I see it going well.
For your sales, going global, how impactful was that to you and in your product? Because not only is it really kind of, it's gone global in all of North America, you're getting stuff in the UK, you got a hometown like California and all that type of stuff, but how has that affected kind of the way you're thinking of it, or has it not changed anything? You're just going to continue doing the same thing? Do you have like a little party or anything like that?
It was interesting, because like I think that first reaction when you see somebody from like a city in United Kingdom that you never even heard of before order something, you're like excited and everything. And that you get the address, you write it down, you package it, and then you go in to type in, you know, the shipping label, and then you find out it's like $50 to ship to Europe from Canada. And then it's like, oh shit, like damn, because like I think the first time we got an order like that, we were only charging like $10-15 for shipping.
Jeez.
And yeah, man. And luckily, I think the first time it happened, like the person spent like over $100 and everything. But like, yeah, like that cut into our margins a lot, you know, compared to, you know, what we were doing.
That's true.
And so I know like that was the first like initial reaction of like, it's cool that people are recognizing us and everything. And then, you know, as entrepreneurship, that's great. And as a creative, that's great. But then when you put your business hat on and, you know, your accounting hat on, it's like, oh shit, we got to make some adjustments.
Yeah, we gotta find something out here, right?
Yeah. So like, it forced me to kind of think bigger in a sense, as far as like making sure that we do have an international shipping option, you know, on the website. But just even knowing that our message can spread that far. With me, I feel like I've never really it's always a goal in the back of your mind, but I never really set out a strategic plan to have people in Australia or the UK to buy our stuff.
Yeah.
They found us through Instagram, and then my main thing has just been like try to just make sure you can get the people around you to really genuinely like what you're doing, and I feel like it'll ripple effect from there. And luckily, like with me going into SFU, which has a shitload of international students, and then coming from a junior college where most of the kids transfer out to different states, like some of those dudes happen to be people who bought Frontrunners, so they would go to these different states or different countries, and then people would see it, and then they would want to buy it as well. And that's kind of how we got some of those orders. But I know for me, it really just changed on the accounting side of just what to account for. But as far as like a marketing plan, I don't think I've gotten that far along where I've actually thought about like actual like takeover like East London type plan or whatever. I'm not there yet. Yeah.
That is actually insane though, that you got to go from just straight up Vancouver all the way into like growing the business from your, however, 0 followers at the beginning to 30,000 at the end of at the where we are now. That's absolutely nuts. Like,
yeah.
And then how you've also gone to all these other businesses. And I'd like to talk about the open spot parking. Like, how did that come along? Was that through school or was that through a whole bunch of other things?
Yeah, that was through school, man. And that was like actually a huge lesson. Like, that was a huge lesson for me because it was actually a buddy of mine. I had him in a few classes prior, and then for my entrepreneurship credential at SFU, we had to one of the classes we had to come up with the business to work on for the class, and then I had Frontrunners where I pitched, and then my friend had just this like random idea that he pitched, and then I said, okay, bro, here's what I'm gonna do. Since you're my buddy, because like we got a lot. It was like a class of probably 15 people.
Yep.
So like people would go up and pitch an idea, and then the other classmates would like be able to say, okay, I want to work with that group or whatever. So
yeah, because you're just one of those groups that's just kind of succeeding far better than everybody else, and they're just like, hey, I want to get good marks like these guys.
Yeah, it was like the thing with like it was like the opposite, to be honest with you, because when you're in school, like when you're like in those programs, like the only type of businesses that people want to be a part of are like, the Facebook type or the Google type or, the crazy new startups. So like I told him, okay, like, bro, you're my friend. I'm just going to help you with your business, help you with this idea. So yeah, he had this idea of like, when you go into public parking, you have to get a ticket or whatever.
Yeah.
He was just, what if we just put a thing on the bottom that just is a sensor, so then it can tell them when it's vacant, and people can do it on their phone and get a parking spot before they leave their homes.
Yeah.
And that was the initial idea. And I remember like the first presentation, we pitched it a little bit, and like the judges, like they tore us up and everything. And then I remember like we were driving back home the day, and then I was like, bro, like, why don't we actually like pivot and make it about like actual parking spots? Like, because downtown Vancouver, like downtown anywhere, I feel like parking is getting insane.
Oh, it's Toronto, man. Yeah. Ridiculous. It takes you got to know the good parking spots that aren't too far away, that are hidden in like some secret alley at the back of like some sketchy hotel. That's the kind of parking you got to find in Toronto. So that's definitely a great idea.
Yeah, no, it's insane, man. And then even like I know college campus parking for students is insane too, and I know the faculty even has to pay for their parking. So
yeah,
I was like, what if we did it where actual people who owned homes or actual like residential parking spots, people could rent out their parking spot like Airbnb.
Yeah.
So we pivoted to that idea, and we had this the business faculty at SFU. They had this competition every I think it was every spring semester.
It's like a Dragon's Den kind of thing?
Huh?
Is it like a Dragon's Den kind of thing? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, similar, but it's like a science fair, but Dragon's Den. So it's like, they call it Op Fest. So like every class, like they have different classes and then different students where I think it's like about 50 students where they have to come with a business idea, then make, like the whole, make like a booth or whatever, and then pitch it to like, like a bunch of judges that are from the school and like from different businesses come around and judge you. And then, we pitched that idea and then we won. We actually won the, I think it was the most fundable business award or whatever. And then I remember when we were like, cause we were excited that day, then on our way home, he asked me, he was like, bro, so what do you want from this or whatever? Like do you really want to pursue this or whatever? Like, is it more than just a class project to you? And I remember telling him like, yeah, bro, like this is something I believe in. Like I'm only here because I believe in it. And then it's like, okay, cool. And then I think it must have been like a couple of weeks later, he was like, one of the people that we actually saw had a similar business, but they didn't get it started up yet. The investors had reached out to him basically. And he messaged me and then saying that he wants to have a meeting. And then long story short, like he ended up taking the meeting like without me and everything like that. And then actually signed let the company get acquired by those guys. And then basically like cut me out the picture. So like I kind of had, like in the Social Network movie, the Facebook movie, how like,
yeah, where they cut him out and they give him the check.
Yeah, like that was like me, but the only like thing I got was like the prize money from the competition was only like $500.
Yeah.
But like they actually they got acquired, and then the parent company actually went public, I think last year. But yeah, bro, that was like my first experience as far as like really being like, kind of screwed over a little bit. And then that's kind of how that ended. But I think from what I heard is that the same thing actually happened to him. The venture capital company actually ousted him from the company as well. And shit was crazy seeing how that happened. But yeah, that was like open spot parking.
I can't really say that's a good thing to hear that he got screwed over, but I guess it kind of pays out that you got screwed over at the beginning and then he ended up getting completely losing his $1 million business.
Yeah, I think he may have like because I know they had like shares in escrow.
Mm-hmm.
So he may have like a few shares now, but the company is now under Smart Share Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the name of the company. And then I'm pretty sure it's public now. Yeah. But I only found like a lot of that out because one of my buddies is in venture capital, and then he actually showed me all that stuff because he was like giving me tips on like building our business model as far as like our financial model when we were pitching and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he informed me about that a little bit, and he was like, yeah, bro, you should have never trust that dude type of thing. But yeah, it was like a hard lesson learned, but it was a pretty interesting experience though, definitely.
That's something great to learn at an early age, just because you kind of understand, hey, not everybody is going to be the best. They're not always going to be the nicest people that we can make business with or do anything else like that. It's just like, hey, we can figure out these people aren't going to be the greatest. Let's understand that and move on from that and build our business even further. And you've definitely done that because you took that in stride from what it seems to me.
Yeah, no, that was my last semester, and that was just a crazy semester, man, because that's like we won that, and then we won like a competition through Coastal Capital for like the top small business award for farmers, and like the whole valedictorian thing happened. So that was just a crazy semester for me, where it was like when all that was happening, I was just so like on a cloud nine, where I didn't want to give that any energy.
Yeah, smart.
And that's just kind of my mindset still to this day. But I know better now though, as far as like if I ever help anybody start a business, to actually like get something in paper, you know what I mean? Some contracts in paper and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's something I'm learning from you now, man. So I got to thank you that. We're pushing an hour and 20 minutes. So I think if you want to keep going, we can, but I want to let you be able to get back to the rest of your day.
Yeah, I'm just relaxing now, man. I woke up pretty early today and got a lot done. So I'm just chilling now, man.
Oh, perfect. All right. So yeah, I think I'm good. I got everything, man. This has been great. Thank you so much for coming. This is the most insane, and this is definitely my new favorite one. We'll definitely keep in touch as the business grows and grows and grows. I'm going to keep in touch with you. Yeah. Oh, thank you, man. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it, man. And yeah, just send me any information that you want me to push on my end, and then if you can, bro, send me your address. I love to like send you some gear as well, and like let me know your size and everything.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'll definitely let that happen, and I'll promote the shit out of it because that is the best. Man, you're definitely one of the people I got in my booth because I know you're gonna help. You're gonna help push stuff, and I'm gonna definitely see if I can. As soon as I can grow this as much as I can, I'll keep it going. Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
I'll definitely help any way I can, bro. I appreciate it.
For sure. All right, everybody.
All
Thanks
right.
for coming on. We don't actually need to end yet because we can still talk because I can cut this. But dude, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
We're off air now, but like, thanks so much for coming on because this is insane. That was great.
Anytime, bro. Anytime. So, what else do you have like that you're working on right now?
For me, it's mainly this podcast. The thing was I was working at a supermarket. It was like a 9 to 5, and I was like, this is so boring. I'm gonna keep working here, save up. I'll wait till next week and get the paycheck for $200-$300 or whatever. Buy 2 microphones, use the camera that I have, and just make some videos and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, no, you got to, man. You got to.
I wanted to start a marketing business when I was younger, and well, not really younger, but like the last 2 years, I've been trying to work towards that. It was called Vita Media. It worked. I didn't really get much business because everybody was just like, oh, hey, you're 16. I don't really trust you with my business thing. So I decided, and I just kind of, like you were talking about earlier, just kind of transition and move from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I know for like, when it comes to the marketing stuff too, like a lot of people, they try and kind of push their way into something when I'm learning that you kind of want to go towards the things that are like pulling you. So like I was only able to kind of transition into the marketing business because like people were already asking me to do, what I was doing. I just labeled it under a different business. I just labeled it as, collective now.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean? And yeah, no, that's what I would say for you too, bro. Like, because there's still like a bunch of like older people who don't understand social media, like people with mom and pop shops and like.
Yeah, that's legitimately my town.
Yeah, bro. And it's like, yeah, even if you charge them like a couple $100 a month and, you find a way to systemize and automate it, it's like, it's an easy way for you to like kind of slowly like transition into doing it, independently and full time. Because it's very doable, man. It's just, I don't know, just kind of observing and then having a feel for like what's pulling you, or like what are the people around you saying that they need help with the most, or whatever, connecting them to that.
Yeah, that was my kind of main push right now, though, was because I do still like that marketing aspect, and that's all I'm doing during the podcast. But what I really want to do is use the podcast as something to say, hey, I actually know what the heck I'm talking about. I've got this podcast with, say, 10,000 followers, 10,000 subscribers, and I'm getting 5,000 views per episode. So that's something. And the thing is, if I can monetize this, that would be even better, because I think on average per 1,000 views, it's around $18. So if I'm making, if I have 5,000, so if I have 5,000 views, then I got however so much money, couple $100 per episode, right? So that's pretty
nice. No, that's pretty good, bro. Yeah, definitely. I think you're doing a great job so far with because I think they call it inbound marketing, where like you're creating content and then people come to you through that content. Like that's kind of your marketing scheme. And just looking at podcasts, man, it's like I prefer them now versus like sitting down and watching a whole YouTube video, just because it's like, we're constantly on the go. Like sometimes we're walking, sometimes we're downtown walking, sometimes we're in the gym, or, sometimes we're multitasking, so we can't keep our eyes on something. So with it being a podcast, bro, like pretty dope, definitely, that you're doing it.
Yeah, man. Thanks again, though. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. I'm definitely going to keep in touch. I'll send you a couple emails. I'll send you whatever. I'll just send you the links and all that stuff. It should be up around 5 tomorrow. Sound good?
Okay, cool.
5 Eastern. So around 1 o'clock.
Okay, that's like 2 p.m. here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that should be cool.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming again.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry, but I'm definitely gonna have to use that part though, because we said, oh, we're gonna cut, and I'm like, that was just some good that was some add on to it. So I guess so.
No, it's all good, man. Anytime, man. I love to be able to kind of like share my knowledge and everything. Like I'm better at like one-on-one dialogues versus like constantly having to run out and sell myself to people and stuff like that. Like I'm don't know. I just value like more one-on-one dialogues a lot more, like real one-on-one dialogues.
I agree, and this was amazing. So, all right, thanks, man. Have a good one.
All right,
Appreciate it, bro.
Take care. Peace.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. This was awesome. This is my new favorite episode. Damn.